Good morning, everybody. How we doing? You're getting a salute out this morning. Sam United People's TV here with another show. You know the drill by now. The latest Manchester United. Moving my stuff around my desk. Get myself ready. The latest Manchester United news. We're going to be speaking about the Sesko article yesterday, which we already covered, but I've enjoyed what I've watched with the reaction to it, if I'm being completely honest. Like properly seen United fans really standing out in support of Sesko, which is what I want to see. We're also going to speak about the podcast. Got some news about that this morning. We'll also speak about Jobe Bellingham for some reason. Some whiffy reports from Germany. I'm going to speak about that briefly, I'll be completely honest. We'll speak about internationals. We'll speak about Cunha. A little conversation about Cunha I want to have this morning. And some other stuff. And as always, your comments and your questions will sort of steer the narrative of the show and how it goes. How are you all doing? Let me know in the chat. Let's say hello to everybody. Good morning to you, Schwab. I can see, is it Schwab? Schwabe? You know me in pronouncing names. Schwab. We'll stick with that. You gifted him 5 minutes. You gifted 10 yesterday as well. You're a legend, dude. Everyone is. Let's see who's here. We've got Josh. We've got Steph. We've got Alex. Good morning to all of you. Carl, I think I saw you there as well. We've got Steve Denham. We've got Frank Mizuno. Mizuno, was that an old brand? Like an old sports brand? I swear it was. I remember I had a pair of white Asics when I was a kid. White Asics with like red. I thought I looked the Don in those. I wasn't particularly good. Let's be totally honest. And James, good morning to you. Bobby, Terry, Siraj, lots of regular faces, lots of new faces as well. And Chris, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. Now, can I just announce something here to kick off today's show, which I'm pretty excited about? The United Daily podcast was something that I did on my own, and I ran it for about 4 months. Every single morning before the live show, I would record a podcast. It was a 15-minute condensed version of the live show that went out. It was a bit much. Being able to prepare a live show and prepare that podcast and do them both, it was a bit too much. So I paused it for a while. And I've been trying to figure out the best way to bring the podcast back. I'm happy to announce it's going to be back in a different form. United People's, it's not exactly that different a form. This is going to be the United People's podcast. It's going to be me alongside 2 new faces on the channel. It's going to be the first time that I bring some new lads into the channel. Dan's on the left and Nick's on the right. You'll get to meet them on the pod. The pod's also going to be video. It's going to be twice a week. We're going to be aiming to, I think, release the pods on a Thursday and a Monday. I think that's the logic. I'll let you know exactly about the release schedule, but this is Dan and Nick. It's going to be the first time that there's new faces on the channel, and this is probably going to be something that I try to do across the course of this year. Everything that we've built here on United People's TV has been around my face and just me. I'd like to introduce some new lads and give them the platform as well to take advantage of the opportunity of what the platform gives them. So I hope you enjoy the podcast when it comes out. Please do support it. Please do engage with it. I'm really looking forward to bringing it out. So the first pod we're going to be recording is tomorrow night. So fingers crossed that goes out on Thursday. And I'll probably bring the lads onto the live show at some point, at different points, and kind of introduce them into other content that we do. But this is going to be the first time we see some new faces. Someone down there saying, Fergie's little smiley face poking over your shoulder. You know what I should do? No, that would involve cutting his head off. That would be a bit bad. I'm not going to do that to Fergie. Feels like you should kind of like just hide Fergie in the studio in different places. That might be fun. We'll see. But anyway, first podcast episode goes out on Thursday. That's the intention, right? Now let's get into today's show. I'm not going to ruin your morning here, people. I do that. I know I do that every morning, but just wanted to make you feel really old again, because it happened to me. Like Jack Wilshere is now the bloody manager of Luton. Come on. Jack Wilshere's a manager now. I'm getting old and just don't need these. Just don't need these things. Anyway. Jack Wilshere's a manager now. Yeah, just thought I'd ruin your day. All right, you're welcome. Christos, you're asking what time is the podcast going out? The intention will always be to get the podcasts out in time for the morning commute. That's always going to be the intention. Now, sometimes it might not happen, but it's going to be the aim, all right? As I said, I'll give you the proper release schedule tomorrow. Anyway, moving on from that. I just wanted to, this is a bit random here, but I wanted to say it's like congratulations to Mateta. I'm pretty sure Wilshere's 33, by the way. Someone asking down there. Mateta made his debut for France. Was it yesterday, day before? And scored on it. And he's what, 28? 29? Like, to be able to probably have a dream for your whole career to play for your country and maybe think you're never going to do it, and then to do it at that age and to then score. It's pretty cool for Mateta. That's all. It's just a nice story. So I thought I'd bring that to you. Right. Let's speak about United now. This video yesterday, did I feel obliged to do it? No, obliged is the wrong word. I wanted to do it. As soon as I saw that Athletic article, like this here, we had a conversation about it in the live show. And I was just like, it's not clickbait. It's not, it's just not clickbait. It's just really, really crap journalism. The sort of stuff that you would expect to see on the back pages of The Sun rather than pushed by The Athletic. And I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. It's like my parents for about 10 years of my life. That's what I felt reading that. Like who gives a toss what an agent thinks? And it's just a very strange article to do, to somehow put Sesko in on top of a list that he certainly doesn't deserve to be top of. But the thing that I was quite happy with was seeing the overwhelming reaction from the United fan base. You can see here on Twitter, like the actual post, it's got 7 million views and over 2,000 replies. And everybody just loading up and just unleashing on what was a pretty bogus article with no real substance whatsoever. No names, just 20 agents. No, who cares about names of agents anyway? And who cares about what agents think? That's kind of the point I made. Yeah, Alex, I think that's a very fair point in terms of who's written it. It's not Kyle Anker. It's not Laurie Whitwell. It's not Andy Mitten. It's not anybody that we know and trust in terms of covering Manchester United, because it's not an article about Manchester United. It just so happens to be that somehow Benjamin Sesko is considered the worst signing of the summer. As I said, an easy. It's not even. Who do you think, out of that list, who are you putting down as the worst signing? For me, I think it's pretty obvious. I said it in the video yesterday, and I'll say it again now. I don't know how anybody can argue that anybody was a worse signing than James Trafford. I really don't. You could, if you wanted to. So far, you could argue about Visser being the worst signing. I mean, how much was he? 50 mil? Was he 50 mil? I can't remember if he was he 50 mil? And then in terms of outlay versus return, Verts, man. As I said, there's a certain price point of a player where, like, simply put, you're not allowed settling in time. You're not forgiven settling in time. Trying to think of Caicedo at Chelsea, Enzo at Chelsea. Caicedo's certainly a better player now than he was when he first arrived there. But yeah, I don't think anybody can argue. Honestly, I don't. That there was a worse signing than James Trafford. Like a £30 million goalkeeper signing that you sign, and then you sign a £50 million goalkeeper to put that £30 million goalkeeper into the reserves. Strange. Very strange. But I'm just really glad that there was a proper... That's Mateta. That's the wrong one. Too many tabs. I was just happy to see the widespread reaction from United fans, all sort of coming together for their player. And that's sort of, as I've always pointed out many a time, I know that there's going to be occasions where you disagree with me in terms of my support of players or my support of managers or anything at the club, but I won't change on that. Like, it might not get me invitations. It might damage. Like, I don't really care about burning bridges with anybody if it means that I defend my players and they deserve to be defended. I'm not going to do it blindly. As I said, I'm not just going to ignore weaknesses. I'm not going to sit here and be fully in the corner of Amram and try and pretend that there's not tactical flaws, that there aren't flaws in the whole system. I wouldn't do that. I'm not delusional. But I will always try and take the default position of defending my player or anything to do with my club, because it might actually benefit my club. Someone down there, Scott, saying the Athletic losing respect with this and the journo watching Amram all game. Oh, geez, who was that? That was... Man, what was a stranger art? I think the weirder article is literally sending a journalist to a football game to watch a manager for 90 minutes. In the 13th minute, he scratched his left arse cheek. And then, controversially, 4 minutes later, he scratched the same arse cheek. Now, does he have crabs? Do you get crabs in your arse? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here. That was definitely the weirder article. But this is just a bit... I suppose it reeks of international break. That's what it looks like. Gus is saying Sesko shouldn't be on that list. And that's from an objective perspective. They also voted that we had the second worst overall transfer window. Did we? Did we? Anyway, the international break is nearly over. I think there's was it one more set of games? I think there is. There's some. I'll run through them. There's some games tonight. There's a few days now until the Liverpool game. Now, in terms of updates from the internationals yesterday, Sesko got another 90 minutes under his belt. Didn't score, but another 90 minutes under his belt. I think it's fair to say that any sort of fitness concerns around Sesko, he's overcome those. He's ready to play 90 minutes. I mean, United only play once a bloody week anyway. But it shouldn't be an issue from this point on. All right? And Bumo also got 90 minutes. Again, good for United. Drew 0-0 with Angola. Lenny Yoro got 45 minutes playing for the under-21s with France. Derek, you're saying Brazil's in Japan tonight. I can watch live. Why Brazil out in Asia? That's a really random one. They played South Korea, right? Beating 5-0. Yeah, why are they in Asia? Are they just doing that as a, I don't know, like a promo tour? I've got no idea. Ayush, you're saying, really surprised there was no editorial oversight on the survey results. It's just an odd one. Really is an odd one. But yeah, Senny was on the bench for Belgium. They beat Wales 4-2. Didn't play. Obviously, has he made his debut for Belgium yet? Not quite sure. Dorger, I think, was left on the bench for Denmark in their most recent game. Either way, they're all coming back to United injury-free. So is Sesko. And in that sense, it's good news. Apparently, Brazil kick off in about an hour. Random. Let's have a look. Right, these are the games today. Who have we got playing in these? Spain, Bulgaria, nobody. Turkey, Bayindir. Nah, he's going to be on the bench. And I mean, you got Bruno and Delo maybe playing against Hungary. Who else? Don't think so. Estonia, Moldova, no. Italy, Israel, no. Andorra, Serbia. Nobody in the England squad. Anybody else? Compare the meerkat. Let's do the thing. That's it. International's nearly done, finally. Right. Gordon, you're saying lots of Japanese live and work in Brazil. Didn't know that. You know, I was randomly saying to you, I was watching a series. I couldn't remember the name. I can remember the name now. Pachinko. Has anybody watched it? I'm like 4 episodes in, so no spoilers. Really good, man. It's about how Korea was occupied by Japan and the sort of shifts and people leaving, and then some going to America, and it's kind of split between different timelines, and it follows a family through different timelines. It's pretty cool. It's subtitled. I always enjoy watching stuff like that. I love a good subtitled series like Dark. Anybody ever watched Dark? My God. I still haven't watched the last season of that. I've never had my mind bent so much by a TV show. It is so confusing, but really good. It's on Apple. It's really good. That's my 2 recommendations. I want to speak about Cunha, because I don't really think that we've been speaking about Cunha that much. Right? So Cunha's going to be playing for Brazil. Is it? They got the starting 11s out yet? Where's the friendlies? I'm guessing Brazil's is a friendly, right? Isn't it? Well, definitely must be. Japan, Brazil. Nah, lineups aren't out yet. Anyway, let's speak about Cunha. Yeah, Dark was good. I might watch House of Guinness. I've been told about that. I need to get back to Dark. We could have a whole little podcast about TV shows. I do love a good TV show. There are some good ones out there. Anyway, Cunha, let's speak about football. I'm getting distracted. I promise you I'm not saying this in a negative fashion. I'm really not. But I'm thinking, if I'm going to be looking at the impact that I think the 3 big signings for United have had, so far I'm probably going to say that Mbeumo's the most impactful. And I think the form that Sesko's in right now, I'm probably going to be putting him second. It's not to say that Cunha hasn't had any impact whatsoever, because I think he has straight away. But my point is there's going to be so much more to come from Cunha. So much more. I think that little injury didn't do him many favours. But he was speaking about United, speaking about Brazil, out with Brazil. And I just wanted to run through a couple of quotes and then have a little conversation, right? You're saying that being here at now United in the national team is without a doubt a different level. A different moment as a player. I think because I play for United and people watch me more on the field, they understand how I play a little bit better. And he said, look, it's only been 2 months, but I feel like I've been here for a long time because of the club's current situation. I have to get results as quickly as possible because I'm a big signing. And I just wanted to, I suppose, have a conversation with you about where you see Cunha right now and what you expect of Cunha in the next few weeks. Derek, if you're going to check out Dark, I'm telling you, you're going to have to commit to it. It is one of those series where when you're watching it, you know, some series you can watch it and, I don't know, have a little scroll on your phone, have a little look around, come back in, you haven't missed anything. You can't do that with Dark. You have got to be, it is mentally focused. If you don't have that focus, you're going to miss stuff. Back to Cunha. Johnny's saying Cunha's the new Bruno. Hopefully, we'll play with Mainoo behind him. And we get 100 mil for Bruno in the summer. Morgan's saying, why defend Sesko when you bettered Rasmus? Bettered Rasmus? I don't really know what your comment is trying to say there, mate. That might just be written wrong. Dalron saying, Cunha's very good. With all the new signings, they're still understanding one another. Wazari saying, don't forget that Senna's a big signing too. Yeah, that's fair. Mainoo, you're saying he's putting pressure on himself. He needs to relax and stay focused. Yeah, I think he is putting pressure on himself, but I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing. I think we had this conversation at the start of the summer, didn't we? Well, not the start of the season. We were like, which signing do we think is going to have more impact this season? And I think Mbeumo topped the list. There is so much more to come from Cunha. And it really isn't a case of, oh, if it works, that's what I mean, like if it works out or if this or if that. It is literally a case of when. It is purely a case of when with Cunha. And at some point, whether it's Liverpool, whether it's Brighton, don't know what game it's going to be, but there's going to be a game where it clicks. It's going to be a game where he's man of the match and he's completely standing out above the rest. And then from that point, he's going to take his game upwards. He's been a little bit unlucky, like that goal he should have had against Fulham. Man, that was good. Morgans, I'm guessing you're Danish down there and you're getting angry at the fact that I spoke out against Højlund. I mean, it's not double standards. If you really want me to explain it, then I shall explain it for you. Rasmus Højlund was here for 2 years. Defending your own is not a given guarantee, lasts forever. Unlimited timeline. I said it about Højlund. I'll say it about Ugarte. I'll say it about any other player. When it comes to that second season, if the development isn't there, then conversations have to be had. And Manchester United, despite the fact that Højlund wanted to stay at the club, and really was a good lad, and was a United fan, they said, look, time's up. If chances are gone, we're going to be bringing in Sesko and moving you on. Yeah, defending your own isn't, as I said, it's not like an unlimited forever ticket. When you join Manchester United, it's a given straight away. Now, that can diminish over time depending on what happens. Unfortunately for Højlund, he was a broken record by the time he left United. It didn't make him a bad player, but it meant, as far as I was concerned, that you were never going to see that again at United. It's a bit like Rashford at Barcelona. Oh, surprise, surprise, Rashford's a good footballer. It doesn't mean that we were ever going to see that again at United. Like Morgan's, just because you haven't seen the support for Højlund, you can't accuse me of not supporting him. Go back and look through it all if you really want to. Okay? Because I definitely did plenty of defending of Rasmus Højlund, to the point where I was criticised for it. Rex is saying, hi Sam, did you see the articles about Rashford saying the environment at United was very inconsistent? I'm going to pull up the interview from Rashford quite soon. All right? Anyway, just want to say that about defending your players. I'm Steve's talking about this logic. Maguire should not be getting a new contract. No, Maguire shouldn't be getting a new contract. Yes, Dalot should be moved on from the club. I agree with both of those. I don't know why United would want to give Maguire a new contract. I can understand partly, but it's just not something that I would agree with. Anyway, Cunha, like Manny said down there, like maybe he's putting too much pressure on himself. I don't quite know, but he hasn't had liftoff yet at United. I think is that a fair way to describe it? The liftoff that he would himself expect and put pressure on himself to do. Hey mate, that could come at Anfield. Cunha's getting some minutes. He's been a little bit unlucky with the injury that he had. That's set him back a little bit. But going to Anfield with Cunha and Bumo and Sesko as our front three. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, Alex, I don't know whether he needs... Is it... What do you all think he needs? Like, what's going to be the spark for Cunha? Is it going to be a goal? Man, you think his lift-off will just happen organically? He's close. That's what I mean. Yeah. By me saying that I think Mbumo's being the most impactful, it's not me pointing at Cunha and saying he's had no impact. Because he has. He obviously has. Just that I think Mbumo's the final output of Mbumo. I think I saw a stat from Harrison from Overlap saying that, what was it? That Mbumo's had the most runs in behind of any player in the Premier League, and also that's led to more shots directly than any other player in the Premier League. Like, Mbumo is making our attack more efficient. Mbumo is directly making our attack and the output of our attack go up. Now, we need the goals, of course. Let me see what you're saying down here. Cunha with 2 goals today for Brazil, says Lyndon. Goals or assists, a cracking goal will lift the weight off his shoulders. Little banger from outside the box against Liverpool. Little barring in. I'm not fussy. But ideally, barring in to the point where the ball bounces back up and hits top of the net. Is that Scholes against Villa? Man, that Scholes against Villa goal. Yummy. Donovan's saying Cunha's playing well. I think he's trying too hard. When that front three starts clicking, the Prem will regret letting it happen, someone says down there. And Manny, you're talking about Cunha's runs. It's one thing we saw when Sesko wasn't quite fit to start. You saw Cunha playing as the number 9. Yeah, no. If anyone's going to play as a auxiliary number 9, it should be Mbumo. It should not be Cunha. Play Cunha as one of the number 10s because he has to have the runs from deep. The best part of his game is his ability to carry the ball up the pitch. Undoubtedly the best part of his game. the ability to dribble it 15, 20 yards. You can't really push him off the ball. He's just too strong with it and too fast with it. Brian is saying Mount's starting the Liverpool game. Cunha's off the bench. Well, it's good to have options. Like genuine arguments and that. How long has it been? Like, and I do not know the answer to this, but I don't want to know the answer to this. How long has it been since United fans have been able to have an argument about which informed attacker that we should be starting? You know what I mean? Like, should you start Cunha or Mount? There are justifications and arguments for both. And it's been a long old time since we've had that. Like, what was it? The best problem for a manager sort of thing. You just got two great players in every position. You're going to piss somebody off. There's going to be fans that disagree with it. But the squad quality has strength in depth. It's what you need. It's what top teams need. Tried a really bad season to have bloody one game a week, didn't we? I think so anyway. Just we lack in midfield because of it. Yeah. Well, we knew that was a mistake. It wasn't captain hindsight to say that Manchester United needed a midfield signing. Every single United fan knew it in the summer. We saw the strategy. And we know what the strategy is by the club this season. Just score more goals. This season, it's all about increasing our attacking output, scoring more goals. That will forgive any problems that we have in midfield and defence and any weaknesses we have. It won't be a perfect season, but we should have enough goals to get us into that top six. That was the logic. And they overlooked the midfield, right? Yeah, Michael, good comment there, saying it's nice to have a healthy argument, not a negative one. Exactly. It's nice to be able to have an argument saying which good attacker should we play rather than which crap player do I want in my starting 11 because I've got no choice. Anyway, Fabrizio on Adam Wharton yesterday, and I'll be honest, he's kind of repeating what's been said and what we know. We're saying that Manchester United and several other clubs appreciate Adam Wharton, but Crystal Palace want to try and keep him. Nothing such as numbers, prices or tags have been decided yet. Now, I've a little update for you. We've decided to delay the release of our scouting Carlos Baleba video until next week because United plays Brighton next week. So we're going to release it during that week in the build-up to the Brighton game. And we're also going to release the week after our one on Elliot Anderson in the build-up to the Forest game because it's going to be a player that you'll be watching that week and it will give you a little bit of an insight into how good they are, the strengths and weaknesses. And the week after that, we'll bring you the Adam Wharton one. But Adam Wharton should be on our list. Right? Rev, that might be the worst comment I've read this year. I've got to pause here and just read this out in full. Sam, can Cunha play left wing back if we want to be more attacking? I'm aware of his defensive weaknesses. I would rather see him there than Delo. Please God. Don't ever say that again. Cunha a left wing back. Makes me want to be sick. Like Mount at left wing back when we were chasing the game against, who was it? Brentford? That was bad enough. No. Don't think I want him there. No, thank you. Left attacking mid. Nowhere else. It's the idea of like shoehorning players into wing back positions. Damn. Anis. Sam, can you please more active? Your energy seems down. Sorry, guys. Shall I just go and have a quick Red Bull, 2 shots of caffeine, and I'll be back. I'll be bouncing off the walls. Rev, right, you go to confessions and you think about what you said, and you come back tomorrow after your sins have been cleaned. Anyway, of course we're in for Adam Wharton. This one's a bit random. I'll be honest, this one's dead random. Jobe Bellingham. Build. Manchester United are interested in signing Jobe Bellingham. Amron's a big fan, appreciates his physical robustness, and believes he would fit well in the system. Now, I'm guessing that's nothing more than a consequence of Jobe not playing that much at Dortmund this year. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but was his dad banned from the dressing room after storming in and sort of shouting his mouth off? I swear I saw that. I don't know whether that was an actual truth. I don't know whether that was just on social media or not. But I saw that. And he's not played that much since he's joined them. So maybe there's some frustrations going on. I don't quite know. Wrong way. This is just, that's not going to happen. That reeks of just taking a story from one place and putting it to another. Right? Manny's saying Jobe's is mediocre. Yeah, quite a few of you are saying it was true that he was banned. I think he was. We were linked with him in the summer. Yeah. It's not, I wouldn't say it's like red flags here, but this is just like, United aren't signing Jobe Bellingham. Right? United aren't interested in signing Jobe Bellingham. Not at this point anyway. So just ignore that. That's whiffy at best. Right? Whiffy at best. Kieran saying Bellingham is a no. I'd rather keep Cobby. Well, that goes without saying, doesn't it? Fabrizio here on Cobby. Just, I kind of suppose is saying the same thing. Ruben Amorim wants him to stay. His story could pick up again if he's not playing. I'm trying to think of like how Cobby ends up staying at Manchester United past January. And he has to be starting games. And there's going to be a counter argument in the comments that Mainoo's not done enough in the opportunities he's been given from the bench. I think for an opportunity to be genuine, it has to be you have to start. I mean, maybe that's a bit unfair to say for an opportunity to be genuine, but for it to be considered a proper opportunity. I suppose when you come off the bench, it depends on the game state, whether you can impact the game. Honestly, honest prediction, I think Cobby's leaving United on loan in January. I don't know where to, but I think he goes in January on a 6-month loan, no strings attached, no buy option attached, no anything attached, just a straight 6-month loan. And if he can get himself into the World Cup squad, that would be great news for United, because if he doesn't get into the World Cup squad, I think he will hold that against United a little bit. Might not do it publicly, might not do it openly, but I think mentally he will hold that against United a little bit and feel like him being overlooked by Amorim robbed him of being in a World Cup squad. And you're only in, let's be real, as a professional footballer, you're in what? 4 World Cup squads? Max? Someone down there saying, does Cobby have the right attitude? Glenn, I've seen nothing but Cobby grinding, Cobby training, Cobby working hard and keeping his head down. Anything that's been said has not really come from Cobby's side of things. Anything that's been done has not really been from Cobby's side of things. I've not really heard a bad word about his attitude or approach. So there's no way that I would spread that on this channel. I think he just wants more opportunities. And obviously if Bruno was playing out of his skin right now, I think there'd be a little bit less conversation around Cobby, wouldn't there? But Bruno's not. Bruno's largely had a pretty ineffective season by his own standards. Linton is saying, honestly, Sam, if you can't play now, what's going to change after the January window? That's what I mean. Between now and the January window, he's going to have to start a few Premier League games. Let me see what's saying down here. Cunha and... Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Depends how you look at it. Start 11's coming out for the Brazil game. And you've got... Is that Casemiro starting? Yeah, Casemiro's captain. Right, so Casemiro starts as captain. And Cunha's down there on the bench. Number 21. Is Anthony in that squad? Nope. He's not a start 11, is he? You'll be mad. These AI photos of Ancelotti look like a Pokemon trainer. Anyway, Casemiro starts as captain, second game in a row. No Cunha in start 11, so he's being rested. Or rotated, whichever way you want to look at it. What's he saying down here? I want Kobe next to Bruno, says William. I just don't think that will ever work. Kobe is not, for me, a proper number 6. And I think if you're going to play Bruno as part of that midfield too, you need a proper number 6. Because of how Bruno is as a player. Because of his defensive lapses. Because of his focus going forward. Xerxes. People still do. I do feel sorry for Xerxes, but I'm not playing him ahead of Cunha or Mbeumo or Mount. Or even really Mainoo in one of those number 10s. I feel sorry for the lad. But I already did a video on this. I don't do a video on this outright. I think I did it on Xerxes and Mainoo during the incident. I did, yeah. I said, look, if United had signed Sesko a year earlier when we tried to sign him, we would never have signed Xerxes, but we couldn't afford him. We then signed Xerxes. A year later, we then go and sign Sesko, who we wanted ahead of Xerxes in the first place. So unfortunately for him, we've then gone and signed the player that we wanted ahead of him, so he's ahead of him in the pecking order, and we've signed better Premier League proven number 10s, who are all ahead of him, and Ahmad's ahead of him as well. You're saying Xerxes' only real depth is for Sesko? Maybe. I think Xerxes will be sold in the summer. I don't think Xerxes will be loaned in January, but I think Xerxes will be sold in the summer. I think it's just unfortunate. I don't think this is a massive slight on him. I think he's grafted and worked, yeah, but the squad building wasn't completely correct. And Xerxes not getting any game time as a consequence. I want to move on to this, right? Because I think it's an interesting little one. I'll play the whole thing, don't know. I'll play a little bit of a snippet of this. You won't be able to hear the interviewer's questions because the volume's dead low for some reason. But he's basically asking Rashford, if there's one thing that's been missing from your game, like, what do you think it is?
Thomas said to us, Marcus, there's so much talent. He said there's one thing you need to go right to that world-class level. Any idea what? Consistency.
Yeah, for sure. You know, consistency is a massive part of it. But it's like this. Like, I feel like I've been in an inconsistent environment for a very, very long time. So it's even more difficult to be consistent then. But yeah, I completely agree. I think consistency is what I need to bring into my game. And yeah, I'm looking to do that. Obviously, I want to be at my best, not sometimes, but as often as possible.
Right, that's part of it. That is play the whole thing. I wanted to get your take on that. I feel like I've been in an inconsistent environment for a very, very long time. So it's even more difficult to be consistent. Someone's down there saying, I'm sick of hearing about Rashford. I thought it was a pretty relevant talking point, considering he was asked about, I think is it Latvia that England play? Don't quite know. There is absolutely no doubt that Manchester United as a football club has been an inconsistent environment. Like, you can have all the disdain you want towards Rashford, and you can argue, probably fairly as well, that he was part of the inconsistent environment in terms of on the pitch. You can talk about his attitude and all the problems that we saw, and you'd be correct. But I've always spoken about how I think football teams are very reflective of the football clubs they're at. It might be a weird thing for you to say. But if you've got a really well-run football club and it's just slick and seamless from top to bottom, that impacts the team. If you've got a football club like Manchester United where so much change is... and there has been so much change behind the scenes of this club. For what would you say now? When was it the Glazers first said that they were looking for, what was it? Strategic investment opportunities or something like that. Glazers. Jeez, when was that? Strategic investment opportunity. I can't remember what they even called it. Done it there? 22nd of November, 2022. My God. That's how long ago it was. So that's verging on 3 years now. Mike, you're saying blaming the environment on your own personal performance when you're a big part of the problem shows no accountability. I don't think he's going as far as saying that, dude. I really don't. My point here is that I know that is true. I know that Manchester United has been an inconsistent environment for a long ass time. So much change behind the scenes. Now, you're right to say that you can't as a player just sit there and go, it's not my fault. It's in an inconsistent environment. There's always more that you can do as players. But only to a certain point. But I don't know, like if you're at work and your manager changes and then your manager's manager changes and then you refurb the office and then 4 new staff members come in, it's going to be hard for you to be the same sort of output that you maybe might be capable of. Alex is saying, why isn't he trying to influence the changes in the environment to make them better? Show some leadership and not a kid anymore. That's what I mean. I think you're all right when you speak about Rashford and the problems that Rashford had. This is one of those situations where both things can be true at the same time. And I think that's kind of the point I'm trying to make here. And as much as, right, and if I can just lead that comment into this. Should have brought this up earlier, but now I know there's been a lot of anger towards this. But if I was definitely going to pull out a positive, which I hope would actually influence the environment and influence how this team plays together, is that these comments actually do bring a little bit of a level of consistency. Like, there's no whispers and murmurs inside that dressing room anymore about, oh, we might get sacked here, No. He's going nowhere. Now, whether the results come, the results are everything at this point. Man, my God, this whole conversation. I know it's like, it's cuckoo land to really say, cuckoo land to say this. But if we just go out in these next 4 games and we win 3 of them, all the energy sort of shifts direction. So at the very least, Ratcliffe coming out in public support of Amorim and saying he needs 3 years gives him a bit more stability and a bit more consistency to the environment. Because it quietens down the whispers. Goose, you down there saying, great name by the way, great username. Like the picture too. Confidence breeds consistency. And consistency breeds confidence. That's proper chicken or the egg. Down here, Manny saying 3 years isn't outrageous. It's a long time in football, let's be honest. Tardy saying, I don't think giving him 3 years is a good idea and no players seem to be improving. Just win some games. This wasn't me bringing up a debate and an argument or a conversation about Amorim and whether he should go or shouldn't go again. It's more to the point where I'm saying it helps keep that consistency in the environment, but the environment has to be correct. What's the point in keeping a consistently crap environment? If you know what I mean. Just get the wins, get the results. Like Liverpool on Sunday. Athletic here reporting that Ryan Gravenberch set to be assessed after suffering a minor hamstring injury. Been a pretty important player for them this season. Not sure who would play inside the midfield. Don't really care. I just thought I'd bring you that as some injury news. But Liverpool. I was watching Martinez's goal for Anfield last season. I was like, oh, man, we could do with having him. Alisson's not involved. Was it Marmadashvili? He'll play. Playing against Liverpool and playing against City always does mean more. And it's always so much more important for managers to get United playing in these games properly. Now, we got steamrolled by City a couple of weeks ago. That felt like they were playing with us. United looked like a play toy of City in that game, and it was crap. It really, really was. Liverpool on Sunday is an opportunity for United to really shift the narrative inside the Premier League. Put all that spotlight, that fierce spotlight on Liverpool. Lost 4 in a row. Ooh. Crisis club. You can go over to Mersey. Really, really, really big opportunity for United to take advantage of that. So I've already mentioned this before. There's chinks in the armour of this Liverpool team now. Let me see what you're saying in the chat. We need to ask questions on Sunday. Liverpool not great. Good news is Martin is hoping to get a run out in the Brighton game. That's what I've seen too. He's just waiting until I'm going to an old game at Old Trafford. I can see it, Lissandra. I can see it. Liverpool is an injured beast at this moment in time. McAllister, Szoboszlai and Wirtz would start. Yeah, I don't know what their start 11 is going to be. Anyway, I might wrap this one up. Last minute or so. Anybody got any questions you want to ask me? I will answer them. But I want to say one more time, I'm really looking forward to bringing back the podcast in a completely new style. So instead of it being 15-minute shows every single day, it'll be 2 shows per week, and it'll be 30, 40-minute chats running through everything, like a proper style of a podcast, rather than the bite-sized podcast, which I had and I ran on my own. You're going to be seeing some new faces, Dan and Nick, and I hope you welcome them on board. They're really good lads, and I think you'll like them. You might not. I'm fine with that. They can deal with that. Finney saying a 2-1 win I'm seeing. Liverpool, Brighton, Forest. Ruben is going to be under pressure to win these games. Of course. You're always under pressure at United. Silent Ronnie, you're asking for the prediction. I'll keep that for the Start 11 video on Friday. I think I'll drop it on Friday. Do I see this team performing well against an underperforming Liverpool team? I want to say yes with confidence, but the City game stung me early this year because City were out of confidence going into that game. I thought United had a real chance. I actually went to that and thinking, United got a real chance here. And then we were just naff. We were just double naff. So I don't want a repeat of that. In an ideal world, you learn from your mistakes, but in an ideal world, you don't make that mistake in the first place. You shouldn't have played as anywhere near as slow as we played against City. Do that against Liverpool, we'll get crucified. We know that. But yeah, I'm going to wrap this one up. Today's lunchtime video, not quite sure what it's going to be yet, but I'm sure it'll be a banger, just like it is every day. Most days anyway. Thank you all for tuning in. If you're new in town, please do subscribe to United People's TV. Sam, that pic makes your head look long. Long head Sam. My bad. It's going to go and shorten my head, people. All right? Take it easy.